Okay, in this video, we're going to look at how to get rid of this nagging background on the cat's head here. There's a few ways we can approach this and kind of explore some options. As we zoom in to the head and the neck structure of the cat, we can see that it can get kind of fuzzy here, and then we have some areas that are a little bit darker, some that are lighter. So there's different approaches that we can take. I'm just taking an observation before I try to decipher what is going to work best. Luckily, this background is fairly consistent in value, so it's some whites and off-whites and a little bit of gray. But with that, we have a gray cat that also has white in it, so it's not like we can just select a quick color and then just hit delete. It might take some slow and steady approaches in order to retain some of the quality of the edge of the cat without compromising the overall image itself. So with that, I'm going to use a lasso first, and I just want to make sure that I'm on the correct layer here. And I'm going to select, just with a lasso, just fairly quick drawing of the area in which I want to edit. In this case, it's the background of this cat area that I want to get rid of. So what I'm doing is just doing a quick, fairly rough selection of the area. And you'll see that come into play here. Slowly go down the edge. And then quickly loop back up. Again, this is just your standard lasso. It's more of a free-form lasso where you can quickly draw and select. I'll go back to the edge to complete that area. I have those dancing lines going so I know that area is selected. And from here, of course, I could just hit delete, right? But when I do that, you can see that I lost that quality, that kind of fuzzy, soft edge of the cat, and that's not exactly what we want. So I'll hit Control or Command Z there, and just kind of look in here and see what my options are. I think I can get away with using what's called select color, or select color range. And what this will allow me to do is select a certain range of color. And the way that I have this set up here is by default, I think it shows none under selection preview. I think it's about a minute, but I like to go to quick mask. So what that does is it puts a red mask over everything, and then wherever you see the color revealed is the color that's actually selected. The way this works is it uses the eyedropper, and you can select a certain area of color. So let's select this area. But you can also see that there's some reddish areas that are not selected. It gets a good amount, but not everything. So what I'm going to do is add to that selection in this color range window, and maybe let's see if I can click here. It's not terrible. And then click here. And what that does is you can see it starts to reveal more of the white. It might be just a little too aggressive, so I'm going to turn what's called the fuzziness down and see if that helps a little bit. Maybe retain some of it, but not too much. And I'm going to call that good. So again, I could, I could go through and hit delete. But again, some of that quality is still gone. So what I like to do from here is just take an eraser, and we'll go around this edge, and it looks like I need to clean up this area yet too, but let's see what happens if I just go through. Maybe I'll delete this edge, and I'm going to lose some of that fuzz. And I could take different approaches to really refine each edge, but from a timeliness standpoint, I think this will do well and also retain some of the qualities of the cat. This area is kind of crazy. I may need to redo this area or revise it after the fact, but we'll see what happens here. go around the edge, or this the tip of the ear is a little odd, so I don't want to take away too much. And I'll go back through and probably revise this again too. This may work for your project. It's just a way to quickly select an edge and then try to refine it. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Hit the bracket key, make my eraser a little bit bigger, maybe get rid of the majority here. And this isn't the final step here. I'll probably have to go through and clean it up again. And as always, I'm zoomed in. That way, if it looks sound zoomed in, it's going to look that much better zoomed out. Go through, clean some of this up. And then to get those dancing lines to go away, I'm going to hit Command or Control D. Take a step back. That is an improvement. It still can be cleaned up, but I can see some of this fuzz quality that I wanted to keep from the original. I still have a few of my whiskers. I might need to clean that up down the road. But overall, it's pretty solid as far as that white area that I wanted to manipulate. And right now I'm just using the eraser to get rid of that hazy line there. And now, the tricky part, I would say, is getting rid of this gray area where it has a gray and white edge. And I'll do that after I clean up this ear a little bit more. So it might test your patience a little bit when you're doing this, and that's okay. We could all work on that a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. I think the top of the head could use some work. But overall, pretty good. I'll use my lasso again. Select this area that I want to manipulate. I may have to zoom out a little bit so I get all of it in the frame. There we go. Select this area. And instead of getting rid of white, I think I'll try to get rid of more of a gray on this one. So I'll go to Select, Color Range again, and let's click on that gray. I'm going to add more to that. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And then from there, I can erase a little bit more. Again, this may not be perfect, but overall, it's a pretty sound way to get rid of that background without losing that quality edge of the cat. Now, of course, it's going to need some adjustments here and there as I zoom in closer to see some of these impurities, but overall, I would say that's a step in the right direction. With that, that is using the lasso to select an area on a layer, and then using Select Color Range to select an area, and then the eraser to clean the edges up. And there we have it. Not a finished product yet, but that is a few quick steps on getting rid of a background or adjusting an edge in Photoshop 2021.